Hey guys, Lindsay here with Storybook Family Farm. So right now we are about at the 9 month mark of owning this homestead, and it's honestly been kind of crazy. It feels like it's been nothing but a whirlwind since we've gotten here. With just basically nonstop working, but it's been really insightful to be able to have the opportunity to legitimately plan out and plot out our homestead while also having a lot more skills than we did just a couple years ago. So it's been really, really nice because like when we were homesteading in town, it was a very slow evolution and a slow grow of, our skill sets and the garden sizes and stuff until we, eventually ran out of room. And my desire to get goats really pushed us to being out of the city. But then now to be at a spot that is like 100% ours, that we don't have any rules or restrictions on what we can do, like it's been really nice to be able to have all of this knowledge and experience of dealing with the plants and dealing with the animals and all this stuff to figure out like what everything needs to function and to like thrive. It's really nice to be able to basically put all of that knowledge into motion on our own land. So it's been a very exciting thing. But then with it being December now, everything has really sort of slowed down and gotten into a cold, muddy, wet state that's allowed us to really have time to do a lot of inside work of the house. So that's been very nice to be able to get more things accomplished inside, because once we got this place, it was just such a whirlwind to get everything done outside, to be able to take care of the animals and also work on food production, that I wasn't able to get very much stuff done inside of the house. So now that the weather has shifted, it's been really nice to be able to focus so much on doing stuff inside and working on renovating and painting and designing and just overall making the space feel like a home. Because at this point, it still doesn't even feel like home for us. Like it just feels like a place for us to lay our heads and to like take care of our bodies, like to eat and that sort of a thing. Like it doesn't even feel, there's no real feeling of connection to the space, because it's just in such a state of chaos. Like there's boxes of things unpacked still, and just a lot of projects that are ongoing. Like it just feels like a work zone more so than like an actual like customized home that actually feels like a reflection of us. So that's been kind of a weird thing to be processing this late into owning a place, that it still doesn't quite feel like home. But so we've been really toiling away on working on that to try to make it feel less like a house and more like a home for us. So that's been a neat journey. We did actually yesterday do a lot of decorating inside for Christmas. So we're that type of family that really likes to go all out for Christmas and to make it like look really tacky and like kind of ridiculous inside, with lights everywhere and tinsel and garland and just go all out with it. So it's been really nice to be able to actually like decorate a house and stuff for Christmas, because last year when we lived in the camper, we only had the space to have like a 1.5 foot tall tree and couldn't like decorate with anything. Like it was just so cramped and so crowded. It was really hard. The holidays were really hard last year. So this year it's actually really nice to be in our own space and to have a significant deal more space than what we did in the camper, so we can actually like sit down and enjoy the holiday and stuff as a family. Like that's going to be really, really, really nice for us to be able to do that. But so in other homesteading news, so we had chicks hatch out back in, I think it was July, might have been the beginning of August when they hatched out. We did throw eggs in the incubator to try to replenish the flock of chickens that we had, because when we had issues with raccoons getting in the barn, they pretty much only took hens. So that was a really big blow for our homestead productivity, because normally we like to be able to sell quite a lot of eggs throughout the their busy season and their productive time, but we could not. We barely had enough for us, for the most part. So that was really a big bummer to have so many like chickens and not very many laying eggs and stuff, because I think part of it was they were stressed out by getting attacked so much, and having so many things, so many stressors and changes and all that stuff. But so anyways, those chicks that we had hatched out, they actually just started laying this week. So we were only getting about 1 egg a day. Occasionally we'd get 2 to 3, but it was very few and far between that we were having days that we got 3 eggs. Like those were like big celebration days for us. But yesterday I had noticed that, well, a couple days ago, I had noticed that we kept randomly getting like a really small egg and stuff. And it was only like we'd get 1 egg and then we'd get 1 really small egg. So I told Tracy that I think that we might have a new layer and stuff. And she's like, I don't know. They're when we hatched them out, we had determined that when we hatched out eggs, that if we had any hens that hatched, that they would probably start laying mid-January, late January, somewhere in there. But we weren't sure how the wintertime would affect their egg laying, if they would end up laying later or what all would happen. So we are very excited to announce that they are actually laying now. I had watched one of the little hens laying an egg this morning, and it was so cute because as she was like laying in the nesting box, one of the young roosters that hatched out with her was like standing guard just like a foot away, and anytime anything came near her, he would start like clucking and stuff like, hey, leave us alone, she's busy and stuff. So it was really kind of cute to see how he was so protective of her laying like her beginning of eggs and stuff. So it was really something sweet. But yeah, so that's really exciting for us to be able to go up to having, the availability to have eggs more often for breakfast and stuff. We did preserve some eggs for us to eat for wintertime, which how we preserve them is just scramble up like a dozen of eggs and then put them in a baggie and then put them in the freezer. So they work good for scrambled eggs, to have like scrambled eggs as a whole family, but you obviously can't make like dippy eggs or, do like you can do omelets, but like basically you can't do dippy eggs, which is like an over medium egg, fried egg, for those of you that don't know what a dippy egg is. But so we're very excited to be able to have more eggs, because also the ducks have also pretty much stopped laying. A couple weeks ago we were getting 5 eggs a day, and now we're getting 1. So that's been a bit of a challenge because part of our homestead revenue making is selling eggs at the market. So that's been kind of not going so hot. And then with the market season right now, we actually are on a break from the market, so it's kind of nice to be able to have so much more free time to be able to focus on, the YouTube channel and making content for that, but also working on homestead projects. The other thing too that here soon we're going to be getting accomplished is we are going to breed Fawny, which is the goat doe that I have been milking since February. So once she goes into heat again, which I don't know if you guys will be able to see her back there. She is the white one that's up on the up on that shelf thing over there. Once she goes into heat again, she will be getting bred. So that'll put it at 5 months from now. So like end of April-ish, whenever she will have a kid or kids. I don't know how many she'll have. She only had 1, her first kidding, which gave us Bonita, which you can't see Bonita because it's so dark in here, but she's down. Actually, you can. She's that little tan one down there, that little blob. But that gave us Bonita. So once she goes into heat again, she will get bred because she's almost a year old. And then following that, once our 2 little black ones go into heat, they will be getting bred as well. So they will probably, Bonita and the little black ones, it'll actually be January by the time they go into heat, because they've actually already hit their heat cycle for this month. The Nigerian dwarfs, they actually go into heat every single month, kind of like a woman has her period. They do the same thing every month, so you can really pick and choose when you want to breed them. So we are breeding them later this year than we did last year, simply because of the fact that this barn is very drafty and there is not electricity out here, so there's no way for us to put up any heat lamps or to create any heat. So we wanted to definitely make sure that any kids were born well after the cold season, and also we wanted to make sure that Bonita, Rosie, and Daisy were going to be big enough and old enough, so we didn't have any sort of like big catastrophes with birthing like we did last year. Last year was our first year kidding with goats, and we ended up losing our other doe because she wasn't like quite big enough whenever she was bred. So then she ended up, her uterus prolapsed, so the vet had recommended for us that we wait till all of the young goats are, about a year old, even though like everything you read online says that at like 8 months, 9 months old, that they're old enough to be bred. The vet had encouraged us to wait extra time just in case, like, so that way it's less likely that sort of thing will happen again. And we definitely don't want to have that happen again, because that was really sad and really traumatic. But it is getting nasty outside. It's like freezing rain right now and snowing a little bit outside. It's just gotten really dark in here. But I gotta open up the barn door so that way any chickens that were out in front can come out. They're standing there waiting. But yeah, so it's been it's been an adventure with the animals being here, trying to figure out like how to get everything set up, and basically just at warp speed to try to get, you know, accommodations made that will work and keep them safe from predators, but also keep them warm for wintertime. So this month I actually have to work on building another shelter for our goat Buck Wilbur and his companion Ferdinand. I do need to build them a much bigger shelter since Ferdinand is getting bigger. And so then that way they just have more protection from the elements, especially when it's cold and rainy and crappy out like this, because they don't really have room to like walk around much in their little shelter. It was an old doghouse that I had found at my mother-in-law's that no one was using, so I was like, hey, can I borrow this? And it's been on the list for me to repair it, replace it, and rebuild it since we got here, but it has not been very high on the list of priorities, but it actually has been bumped up quite a bit more recently, just because it has been getting so wintry outside and just all around kind of awful. I don't know if you guys can hear the freezing, it's like, I don't know if it's showing on camera or not, but it's pretty yucky outside, so I think I'm actually going to head back in because it is quite chilly. But so not too much crazy has been going on with us, except for, you know, just basically keeping everything going and trying to keep up with keeping every project on hand at test, like just keeping everything going. All the animals right now are like kind of wigging out because it's snowing, and like the turkeys, they have not really experienced snow yet, so they don't really know what's going on. They're just all kind of stressed out. But yeah, it's been interesting the last couple months. So I'm going to end this here so that way I can get a few things done outside before it gets way too cold. So if you're enjoying our content, please give this video a thumbs up, share it with your friends on social media, and if you haven't already, please subscribe to help us grow. We'd greatly appreciate it. All right, thanks for watching. Have a good one, guys.